welcome back. Welcome back. This is part 3. Are you serious? Yes. We are in part 3 of today's show with no name. I hope you guys are enjoying the show. It's great to be back here with all of you, having fun, laughing, learning English, playing, and sharing. And now you all know what Labubus are. I know. Well, if I need to know, you need to know. Hey, it's big money in Labubus. If you're an investor, you never know. A $30 doll can end up going for almost $10,000, as we said before. All right, well, in this part of the show, we're going to take a look at today's homophones. We'll also listen to our Say What soundbite for the 3rd time. It's going to be a tough one today, as I said, so bear with me here. Get whatever you can. That's what I say. If you can get a sentence, great. If you can get 2 sentences, great. Your best, amigos. I'll tell you what, let me give you
homophones on show with no name. It's homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. Homophones on the show with no name. Cause homophones time, it's homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. Show with no name. Yeah, show with no homophones. Show with no name.
It's homophone only on the with no name. Let's see what we've got today. Well, there's a first word. Right? Now, we say a word, which you're going to tell me, but if it's a light viento, how do we say that? Well, that is a breeze. And in fact, a breeze also means something that's easy. So English, learning English with us here on Vaughn Radio is a breeze, correct? All right. Well, this is viento. Viento. Again, it's a good word to know because it's also a part of some idiomatic expressions as well. And we'll take a look at its many meanings afterwards. The second word is dar cuerda, you say. Okay, so if you have a watch or you have one of those little ballet boxes, you know, those spinny little ballet boxes, well, you've got to take the thing and go clack, 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 and you've got to spin it. Okay, so that is that's the main meaning of it. Let's say it that way. The main meaning of it is dar cuerda, but it has many, many meanings and uses as well. So I'm not just going to teach you the word. We'll learn how to conjugate it, but we'll also take a look at its many meanings. All right. So what are those 2 words? The first word is viento. The second one is dar cuerda, you say in Spanish. If you know those words, you can participate over in the comments in our homophone section. Also, let me give you the Say What soundbite, the very tricky Say What soundbite for the 3rd time.
Nothing like a farm. Nothing like being around animals, fixing things. There's nothing like being in the field by yourself with the vegetables and the corn, the winter wheat. Green stuff you ever saw?
Hey, Damian, what's crack-a-lackin', buddy?
Hey, Alberto, I was planning to do some sports this week. What about playing baseball?
Ooh, baseball. I love it. But I'm not. Can we touch base next
base. Hablamos en algo. Yeah, okay. Let's touch base. Okay, what about basketball? Do you want to play
Oh man, I love basketball. It's one of my favorite sports, but I don't know if I can this weekend because I've already got plans. Oh man, that's the way the ball bounces.
That's the way the ball bounces. Así están las cosas, ¿no? Así bota la pelota. Así bota la pelota. That's the way the ball bounces. I love that expression. Okay, what about tennis? Do you want to play tennis?
Well, I love tennis, but I'm not a good player. If you don't mind playing with a novice, the ball's in your court, buddy.
La bola está en mi campo, ¿eh? La pelota está en mi tejado. All right. Do you want to play some soccer?
Sure, I'd love to play some soccer or football, as you call it. What time do we kick off?
Perfect. We're kicking off at 9. Are you available?
Sure, but I might have to play some golf before with some friends. It's par for the course.
Of course, es lo normal, ¿no? Normal. Lo que sea about like playing billiards.
Yeah, right now I'm ball.
I'm detrás de la bola de 8, como que de perder.
Oh, yeah. Wow, a lot of idiomatic expressions here.
Muy buenas expresiones. Si es que así de gusto aprender inglés con un profe como Alberto y un poquito de creatividad, tienes This Book is the Shit. El mejor libro para aprender inglés que te has echado a la cara in your life. Píllatelo, vas a disfrutar mogollón de dibujos para que lo aprendas todo fácil, con conexiones lógicas y divertidas. Es la manera más sencilla y más divertida de aprender inglés. No te la pierdas.
Damián, you're such a good sport. Te enrollas. You can pick up your copy of This Book is the Shit at
Vaughantienda.com.
It's the shit.
That's right, folks. This book is the shit, my latest book, and you can pick it up at Von Tienda, where you can pick up all the awesome materials we've got. We've got business English, we've got our translation booklet, and a plethora of other materials to help you learn English and get psyched, get stoked about English. All right, now I've given you the Say What soundbite for the third time. So we've got one more listen there. And again, forgive me because I know today it's a little bit tricky. No, un poco chungo, would say in Spanish. But I think these homophones are not tricky. Let's take a look. The first word is wind. Wind. And as I said, viento. But to break wind, romper viento. Hey, you need to know these things if somebody asks you. And then you know what you answer? Whoever smelt it, dealt it. Esta otra que rima en español y en inglés. El que lo huele, abajo lo tiene, you say, I think. We say, whoever smelt it, dealt it. El que lo olió, lo repartió. Right? My daughter said this one the other day. In fact, my mother is visiting from the States, and all of a sudden, my daughter says, my mother said, she goes, Lara, did you just fart? Did you just pass gas? And Lara said, whoever smelt it, dealt it, Grandma. And I said, oh my God, I have created a monster. A 5-year-old kid who knows that expression. Whoever smelt it, dealt it. So yes, wind, to break wind. The adjective, windy. Man, it's windy. Also, when we talk about wind, man, what he says, it's a lot of wind, to be honest. And wind in this case is humo, right? Está hablando mucha, no crees nada lo que dice. It's a lot of wind. He talks about a lot of wind. Now, the second word is spelt exactly the same. So for all intents and purposes, it's said exactly the same, right? No, it isn't. Yeah, so it's wind and wind. Wind and wind. They are not, it's like bass and bass, right? Bass es lubina, bass es un instrumento, el bajo. Or minute and minute, right? Minute, un minuto. Minute, muy pequeño. Spelled exactly the same. How do you know the difference? Well, context will tell you that. So Wind. Now the first one, it's not a verb, so we don't say he winded. No. Okay. So in that case, you could say he broke wind. You could say, you can use it in many other ways, but not as a verb. Now the second one is used as a verb. It's used in many different ways. The second one is wind. Wind. Yeah. So you need to wind your watch, right? But also, if something starts to wind, here it says enrollar, bobinar, devanar. But if something starts to wind, serpentea, right? It's a winding road. If you know the Beatles, the long and winding road, well, then you've heard it there. So, but if we add an up to it, we use that one a lot. So that's why I'm pointing out this one. So to wind up, ¿qué acabasteis haciendo anoche? What did you wind up doing yesterday? La respuesta, dámelo en pasado. We wound up, fijaos cómo lo pronuncio. We wound up going to the movies. Wound up. Okay? And in the third column, it's wound. So it's wind, wound, wound. Okay? Lately, we've wound up going to different places. Okay? Now, also, if somebody is wound up, they're very nervous. Piénsalo. Le has dado cuerda. Está nervioso. Está tenso. Man, relax. Take a deep breath. You are all wound up. You need to unwind. And to unwind is desestresar. So you see how we just take this word wind and we really, really, juice it. We milk it. We get every little thing we can out of it. So we wind up really understanding it. So another word that's spelt the same, but pronounced differently. Did you notice the past tense wound looks like another word? Of course it does. Wound, right? Lesión. So let's say this. Say it with me. He wound the bandage around the wound. He wound the bandage. Sounds like a wow, 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 wow. Sounds like, like Charlie Brown's teacher, but it's true. He wound it around the wound. And another one of those words. So we just looked at about 4 or 5 of those confusing words that can have different pronunciations depending on where we see them in a sentence. So everybody who said that these words do not sound the same, great job. All right. And now I'm going to ask you another question. So is there a homophone for that first one? Is there another word that sounds like, no, not the first one, excuse me, the second one? Is there a homophone for that second one? Wind. So the first one, again, is wind, viento. The second one, wind. Think about it. Does it sound like another word? I'll tell you, there is a homophone in here. And this is an interesting thing about this section too. Usually, even if the words aren't homophones, we see if there are any homophones for each word, right? Respectively. So yes, in this case, there is. For wind, yeah, because wind isn't a word. We won, ganamos, not we wind. So wind, I'm trying to think and nothing comes to mind. But the second one, wind, okay. I told you you would wind up whining. You whined all day yesterday. And that word to whine, quejarse, lloriquear. It's como vino, pero como una H. So esa sí que es homófono. The word wind and wind con H do sound the same. So as always, amigos, we're playing with words here. We're getting to know these words. We're getting comfortable with these words so that if you feel comfortable with them, you can play them. You know how to conjugate them. You know their many meanings. Well, then when it comes time to put them into practice, to use these words, you'll be A-OK. So excellent job in our homophone section, amigos. And it's time to debut a new section called Real Reviews.
First of all, what went through my mind is how stupid am I to actually volunteer unbelievably painful.
Thanks to my mom. Big shout out to my mom for helping me out with that one. Thank you, Mom. Did you hear? Real reviews. Well, you know what? One of my favorite hobbies, I don't know about you guys, is reading reviews, restaurant reviews, theater reviews, movie reviews, all kinds of reviews. Why? Because anybody can write a review. So it can get really interesting. It can get really funny. And most importantly, aside from laughing at people's negative reviews, we can also learn tons of English from these reviews as well. And I'll switch it up. So if one day we do a restaurant, the next day we'll do a hotel. And this way we can look at vocabulary associated with each establishment that we're looking at. All right. So it's called Real Reviews. You know why? Because I literally went to Google. I looked up a place and I said, sort reviews, organizar los reviews de peor a mejor, from worst to best. And what I did is always this is so you know too, in this section, I don't use any reviews that were translated automatically. So they're native people. And I look at the name too. I'm like, okay, John Johnson. Okay. He's obviously, a native English speaker. So I'm not looking for these automated translations. I want you to hear real English as it's written, and we'll speak it here on the show. Now, today, as I said, to debut the section, we're going to look at the Spanish McDonald's, as I call it. El McDonald's de España, one of my favorite places. I think it was my sustenance for my first 5 years in Madrid. I think I ate there every single day. I would always get a caña and a plate of ham, Spanish ham, and it was cheap as chips, as my British friends say. It was cheap as chips, mate. That means it was dirt cheap. And you know that one from AC/DC. Dirty deeds, done dirt cheap. Dirty deeds and the done dirt cheap. Dirty deeds, done dirt cheap. You know that song? Well, dirty deeds, cosas malas, obras malas, done, hechas a precio, tirado de precio, done, dirt cheap. So I love the place, but I understand why a tourist would come and say, this place where am I? Is this some kind of crazy dystopian nightmare? There are pig's legs hanging all over the walls. And I remember one of my first experiences with this place. And again, I'm not going to mention names. I'm not looking for a lawsuit here, but I think everybody knows what we're talking about, a very famous Spanish chain. And I remember they had the metal garbage cans there, the bins, as the British call them. We say it too. And I remember taking my napkins, my toothpick, whatever, and throwing it into the garbage. Naturally, you throw it away, you throw it out. Ambos significan tirar a la basura. De hecho, you don't have to say to the garbage. You don't say throw it away to the garbage or throw it out. No, throw it away or throw it out ya implica que es a la basura. No hay que añadir a la basura. I'm telling you because I've heard a lot of people say, throw it away to the garbage. No, throw it away. Throw it out. So I went to throw away my napkins, and I remember I was like, okay, there were napkins all over the floor. We know that's usually a sign that it's a good place, right? That's my understanding on that. So there I was being a good American. Can't litter. To litter es tirar basura fuera de la papelera. And so I was, tossing my garbage in there, throwing it away, throwing it out, as I told you before. And the guy came around with the broom, con la escoba. And he took the garbage can, the bin, he flipped it upside down and dumped it on the floor. And I said, so why did I even bother? I mean, why bother having garbage cans if you're going to, in his defense, he was sweeping it all up, but I thought it was quite funny. I thought it was quite ironic that I was trying not to litter, and then the guy took what I put in the garbage can and just threw it on the floor. And I didn't think it was the most sanitary thing I had ever seen. But also, cheapest chips. I love jamon. I like cheap beer. It's my place. I love that place. I mean, I haven't been in a long time, but I love that place. So let's see what some people had to say about this place on Google reviews. All right, the first one. Imagine paying 15 euros for sliced tomatoes and canned tuna. Now, we all know this, ensalada con bonito y tomate, right? It's also, this is something I never order out because it's true. I feel like, honestly, this is not just this place. I feel like this is a ripoff. You can buy some good tuna. You can take the tomato and cut it. So you're basically paying them a premium to cut your tomato because you put the tuna on top or the albacore, whatever, whatever kind of fish you're going to put on top of it. And so I agree here, but people like that. I usually order things I don't make at home or I can't make at home easily. So this person said, imagine paying 15 euros for sliced tomatoes and canned tuna. Disgusting food. Okay? So disgusting, asqueroso no es disgustar. Un disgusto is I'm let down, I'm disappointed. Disgusting is asqueroso. So, and the word sliced is en rodajas, right? So sliced tomatoes. Before, I said the idiomatic expression, pongas como lo pongas, que implica esta palabra. However you slice it or dice it, all right? However you slice it or dice it. And then the second word, canned, makes sense, right? Enlatado. We say the same thing, canned tuna. Then they said disgusting food, comida asquerosa. Rude staff, o sea, plantilla maleducada. Weird atmosphere. Well, I've always thought about that. I mean, I'm not a vegetarian, but I can imagine a vegetarian would not go in there and have a salad, because everywhere you look, you're looking at animals' legs. Again, I'm not offended by this, but I can see how someone will be like, what is this? So this person said, weird atmosphere. Then they went on to say, we paid for whatever was served already and just walked out. So they didn't even finish. They said, guys, we've had enough. The check, please. At least they didn't do a walkout. To do a walkout or to dine and dash es hacer un simpa, you say in Spanish. And they finish the review with the word tourist trap. And a tourist trap, it's a good word to know. It's the typical place that nobody who lives in that city would go to because we know that it's expensive, the quality is not good, and it is literally a trap for tourists. The best example, the places in the Plaza Mayor. I'm not saying they're not good restaurants, but they're exclusively for tourists because somebody from Madrid would go to Cava Baja or another street nearby, but not to Plaza Mayor, right? Because those places are full of tourist traps. So interesting vocabulary we can learn from there. Also, here's another one. Avoid it. This is the same place. Avoid it like the plague, como la peste. Avoid it like the plague, a mandatory 10% service charge. A service charge or a gratuity is another way of saying a tip. For the worst service I have ever experienced. Experimentado. The server refused to even attempt communication. When half of what we ordered never arrived, just kept shouting, no English, no English, no English, over and over again. So, again, there are some good reviews of this place, but this section is about highlighting some of those bad reviews to learn some different ways to express ourselves, to complain, to whine, as we said before, the word whine. So that was real reviews, a new section that will be debuting. Again, if you guys come across reviews or you have written your own, I actually have quite a collection of reviews that I've written myself. But in this section, I'll be taking a look at other people's reviews, totally native reviews that we can take a look at to learn some English. I hope you guys enjoyed that section, and I also hope you'll join us in the fourth and final part of today's show. Can't believe it. Time is just flying by here. We're going to kick off the fourth part of today's show with our Double Trouble section. After that, we'll listen to our Say What soundbite for the fourth time. We've also got Name That Movie. We've got famous birthdays, Name That Lyric, and much, much more up ahead, my amigos. I hope you're having a good time, and I hope you're ready for more. So you know what to do. We'll be right back after this quick commercial break. Stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to the fourth and final part of today's show with no name. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's great to be back with all my amigos. I missed you. And don't forget, you can listen to Fitz and his program, No Excuses. It's right before this show every day. Don't miss it. You've also got the Pro Bowl Show with Rob Grams. You can check out the unpopular opinion of the day with my buddy Rob. In fact, I had lunch with the fellas the other day. I had lunch with Rob, also with Fitz and another friend. Good times. And you guys, I'll tell you something, we missed you. And not all our shows are back yet. That's true. A couple shows are coming back in about a week or two. Stay tuned. But either way, you've got content 24/7, 365. That's right. All day, every day. Just download the Vaughn Radio app and you can learn along with Gretchen as well. Our latest show right after this show. In fact, all you have to do is stay tuned and you can learn to have some fun and communicate with Gretchen. What a wonderful communicator she is, and a new addition to Vaughn Radio. So give her a nice warm welcome if you haven't yet. All right, folks, it's time for today's double trouble. Yeah.
Double trouble, baby.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come
what
on.
time it is.
Come on. Come on.
Double trouble. I said double trouble. Double trouble. I said double trouble.
All right, my amigos, your double trouble for today. As always, you've got to use the same word twice. So good luck. We'll see if you guys can figure it out. I think it's going to be pretty easy. No, I'm going to give it intermediate. It's going to be an intermediate level one today because some parts might be tough, but that second part you should know. You should know the phrasal verb. You might not know the idiomatic expression because today in our double trouble, we've got an idiomatic expression and a phrasal verb in that order. Maybe it'll help you out. Okay. Ella arriesgó todo y después vomitó. Oh, well, sometimes it happens when you're nervous, right? Your adrenaline is rushing through your veins. Ella arriesgó todo y después vomitó. Again, you have to use the same word twice in this translation. Is a double fourth and final time. I know it.
Nothing like being around animals. Fix the thing. There's nothing like being in the field by yourself with the vegetables and the corn, the winter wheat. Reading stuff yourself.
¿Qué tiene que ver la Universidad de Oxford con Vaughan? Pues muchísimo. Es una alegría anunciar que Vaughan ha sido certificado como centro examinador de Oxford Test of English. A partir del próximo mes de marzo 2023, podrás hacer los exámenes de Oxford Test of English en los centros de Vaughan. Si quieres más información sobre esta iniciativa de Vaughan y Oxford, puedes ver más en nuestra página web, grupovaughan.com. O bien, síguenos en redes sociales para más información. Oxford Test of English con Vaughan. That's right, amigos. It is the Oxford Test of English, and you can get it done with us here at Vaughan. Again, if you're following us on social media, then you'll know what we want you to know. Well, you'll know about all the special deals we've got. You'll know about upcoming events. And, of course, you'll get English content as well. So follow Grupo Vaughan on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, even on LinkedIn and YouTube. You'll find us teaching English and having fun. All right, let's take a look at this double trouble. It seems like it's given you guys a little trouble today, but let's see. Let's see if we can pick it apart. This is another way of saying to dissect it. All right, so ella arriesgó todo. She risked everything. Okay, that's one way to say it. She risked everything. But that's not going to help us out there. All right, let's look at the second part. Y después vomitó. And then she vomited. That's one way to say it. Or, and then she threw up, right? We just looked at before to throw out. Eso es tirar a la basura, para no mezclar aquí. Throw it out. Tíralo a la basura. Did you just throw up? Acabas de vomitar. So again, they're both with throw. It's an irregular verb, as you know. Every day I throw. Yesterday I threw. Good. And lately I've thrown. Okay, so we've got the second part. Let's stick with the threw up part. So, and then she threw up. Y después vomitó. Okay. Another way to say to risk everything is to throw caution into the wind. So caution is precaución, ¿no? Cuidado. to take caution, to say, here's caution. Es que para que lo visualices, because if you can visualize it, then it makes sense to you. So it's to take caution, ¿no? Esto de decir, voy a tener cuidado, and throw it into the wind. Tirarlo al viento, como a mí no me vale para nada. So it means literally, the best way I think about it, my dad, when he moved to the United States, he was 16 years old. He threw caution into the wind. Arriesgó todo. Did you know this expression? We already looked at the word wind, and we know it shouldn't be confused with the word wind, which we also looked at, and it has many meanings. So there you go. Yeah, to throw caution into the wind is to risk everything, usually to take a big risk, to say, you know what? I don't care anymore. I'm going for broke. And to go for broke is darlo todo. Voy a ir a por todas. To go for broke, to throw caution into the wind. So the translation is, ella arriesgó todo y después vomitó. She threw caution into the wind, and then she threw up. Excellent job. If you guys figured that out, it wasn't an easy one. Not at all. All right, it's time for Name That Movie.
Name that movie.
Right, amigo. Welcome. This is a show where we take a look at a popular movie and you English from said movie. So let's see if you recognize it. I'll give you the trailer, and then we can take a look at a scene from the movie as well, and maybe some fun facts. Here's your trailer. A sausage leads a group of supermarket products on a journey to discover the truth about their existence and what really happens when they are picked off the shelf. All right? So vamos por partes. A sausage. Cuidado con esta palabra. No se dice sausage, aunque es age, es idge. Rima con bridge. Vamos a decir esto. There's a sausage on the bridge. Sausage bridge. ¿Ves? A sausage leads a group of supermarket products. Eso es, los lleva, los dirige. A group of supermarket products on a journey, que no es una jornada, sino una cruzada. A journey to discover the truth, la verdad, about their existence and what really happens when they are picked off the shelf. ¿Qué pasa realmente cuando se escogen, cuando están escogidos o cogidos de los estantes, the shelf? Okay? All right. Well, the movie is called Sausage Party. Now, it's a very funny name. Some of you might know the idiomatic expression. Maybe you don't. A sausage party. I've heard it translated in Spanish as Campo de Nabos, you say? Okay. We don't call it a turnip field. Nope. We call it, I think it makes sense, right? This is a sausage party or a sausage fest. Es otra forma de decirlo. No hay nada más que tíos aquí, right? So you guys have similar ways to express that. Well, the movie is called Sausage Party. And again, it's got that double meaning, but it's also a cute concept. And in fact, Seth Rogen said, you know, what gave him the idea, and I quote, was, people like to project their emotions onto the things around them, their toys, their cars, their pets. So we thought, what would it be like if our food had feelings? We very quickly realized that it would be fucked up, jodido. And enter the movie Sausage Party. As I said, came out in, I don't have the year here. Let me see if I've got it here. My internet's not going too well today. Well, doesn't matter. It stars Ed Norton, the one and only Ed Norton. Oh, yeah, here it is. Finally, 20 minutes later. The movie's pretty recent. Pretty recent. About 9 years ago. 2016, the movie came out. Again, and it stars Seth Rogen, Jonah Hill, Ed Norton, Kristen Wiig. I mean, what a cast. Vaya reparto que tiene esta película. All right, let's take a look at the scene from Sausage Party. Douche, which, by the way, douche, that's not a good word, but that's the name of this product, douche. Now, douche, I know what you're thinking, ducha. Yeah, pero de partes privados de mujeres. You know, these limpiezas de que hace la, for some reason, I don't hear much about this in Spain, but in the United States, you see a lot of commercials for products that are used for douching, to douche. Now, if you call a person a douche, you're calling him un capullo. Okay? So again, I need to douche. No es tengo que ducharme, tengo que limpiarme los partes. And if I'm not mistaken, it's like some kind of solution with vinegar. I don't know how it works exactly. Well, naturally, I've never douched in my life, but it's a strange word. And if you call your friend a douche, well, then it's not literal. In that sense, you're saying you're an idiot. You're a douche or a douchebag, se dice. Okay, these are not nice words, but that's the name of the character. And Douche says, see, Frank? And he says, so now you're going to come at me, bro. Ahora, come at me. Ahora vas a enfrentarte conmigo. Come up to me es acercarte a mí. But to come at me means fight. Easy now. Easy now. Tranquilo. Now. And no te enteras de las cosas. Y eso significa otra vez, no se entera. He has his head up his ass. Tiene la cabeza metida en su propio culo. And to yanking on the scrot, and the word scrot is short for, did you figure it out? Scrotum. Yes. Now, I'll tell you this, even though the they're cute and I relish. It is my favorite. Okay. But the second one, do you catch that second joke? He mustered the strength to eat the mustard. No se escriben igual, because mustard, mostaza es mustard. But to muster the strength is buscar el coraje dentro de ti. So you get it now? He says, look, sausage, I girls are. Let's see who we've got. Number one, this very talented American actor rose to fame in the movie Primal Fear. Primal Fear, which was about a lawyer with Richard Gere and a boy who committed a crime. He was also a Nazi, a neo-Nazi in American History X. He was in Fight Club, which I think that cemented his status as a superstar. And he's been in everything. He's been in so many movies since then: The Grand Budapest Hotel, The Incredible Hulk, The Bourne Legacy, and even in today's Name That movie, Sausage Party. So I said his name just moments ago. So if you guys were paying attention, then you'll know exactly who I said. Number two, born today in 1936, this American actor, director, producer, and filmmaker is probably one of the greats as well. I mean, we got a great lineup today in our birthday celebration. And this guy has done The Park, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, The Sting, which you call El Golpe, All the President's Men, Ordinary People, Out of Africa, one of my favorite movies, a baseball movie called The Natural. And this guy is perhaps one of the last living legends of yesteryear, Antaño. And last but not least, this American actor had the time of his life. Now, I don't know if he sang that song in Dirty Dancing, but he was in Dirty Dancing. And wow, talented actor. He was in many movies: Point Break, Dirty Dancing, Roadhouse. But I think Dirty Dancing cemented his status as a heartthrob. I remember every girl that I went to school with was in love with this guy. And then when he came out with the song, She's Like the Wind in My Dream, You're Out of My League. Estás fuera de mi liga. Estás en otra liga. Just a fool to believe I am living too. She's like the wind. Ella es como el viento. We looked at that word today. I wonder if it was on purpose. All right, number one in our famous birthdays, it's the one and only Ed Norton. Ed Norton. Number two, Robert Redford. Robert Redford is number two. And last but not least, Patrick Swayze. Now, I know a lot of people say Swayze. In Spanish, you say Patrick Swayze. We say Patrick Swayze. Well, that's the way he said it, so we'll say it the way he said it. Patrick Swayze, who was, como dije antes, a heartthrob in my generation. I mean, he could dance, he could sing, then he could play a tough guy. He could do it all. The one and only Patrick Swayze. And we're going to go on over to today's Say What soundbite. And we were talking about Robert Redford. Well, that was Robert Redford in the movie The Natural. And this movie is awesome. You don't have to like baseball to love this movie. It's about baseball, but it's about love. It's about youth. It's about growing old. It's about a lot of different things. And it stars Robert Redford, and he plays a baseball player called Roy Hobbs. And he says in the Say What soundbite today, nothing like a farm. No hay nada como una finca. Nothing like a farm. Nothing like being around animals, fixing things, arreglando las cosas. There's nothing like being in the field with the corn and the winter wheat, el trigo de invierno. The greenest stuff you ever saw. Now, you would technically say you've ever seen, but remember, he's from the South, and in the South, that's a common mistake. It's the biggest car you ever drove, you've ever driven. So a lot of people use that wrong, native speakers, especially in the South, where this character is from. So here he is, the one and only Robert Redford from The Natural.
Nothing like a farm. Nothing like being around animals, fixing things. There's nothing like being in the field by yourself with the vegetables and the corn, the winter wheat. Green stuff you ever saw?
Hi, hello, Alberto. I think the song is. No? Sorry, bye.
Name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric only on the show with no name, the show with no name, the show with no name. Name that lyric only on the show with no name, the show with no name, the show with no name. It's name that lyric only on the show with no name.
That's right, amigos. It's Name That Lyric only on the show with no name. Well, firstly, I want to give you guys a nice round of applause for your effort today and every day here on the show. Thank you so much for your participation. Thank you for your comments. When I posted that I was returning, I got a lot of amazing comments on Instagram, on Facebook. So thank you for all the love. And you guys really make me love what I do every day because I get to be with you guys. So keep it up. Stay tuned. Up next, you've got Gretchen. And right now, we're going to take a look at She's Like the Wind. That's right. Well, everybody loves this song. I think it's quite a beautiful song. And I think we all thought the same thing. What? He can act, he can dance, and he can also sing? Wow, this guy is unstoppable. I'm talking about our birthday boy, Patrick Swayze. And he says, she's like the wind through my tree. She's like the wind through my tree, a través de mi árbol. She rides the night next to me. No, vamos por la noche juntos a mi lado. She leads me through the moonlight. Me lleva por la luz de la luna. Me guía. Only to burn me with the sun. She's taken my heart, but she doesn't know what she's done. Feel her breath on my face. Her body close to me. Can look in her eyes. She's out of my league. Just a fool to believe I have anything she needs. She's like the wind. Thank you so much, amigos. And let's say goodbye with this awesome song. You know you love it. Come on. Come on, Patrick. You're out of my league. Estás en otra liga, tía.
She's like the wind
Beautiful.
through my tree.
I've got goosebumps. I don't know about you.
She rides the night
Thank you so much, amigos. We'll be back tomorrow.
next to me. She leads me through moonlight, only the